my name is Joy Nzurike. I attend Dominion City Norcross campus. I'm here today to thank God for a successful completion of my nursing program. In January 2020, I signed up for the accelerated nursing program, which would normally take about 4 years, but it was compressed into 16 months. From the very first day of class, we were behind. It was very, very fast paced. And I don't even have words to describe the intensity. So 2.5 months into the semester, COVID happened. So we have to kind of move to online studying, and then the kids were home. So I had to, get into class by 9 a.m. every day till 5 p.m. And then I have both my kids on my side, trying to help them with their schoolwork and everything. So it was so overwhelming. I don't even have words to describe how it felt. But on one of those weekends, I came to church. It was a Sunday, and Pastor Neka was teaching about how God's plan has not changed because of COVID. So, it was like scales fall off my eyes. I'm like, that is so true, because before then, some people were telling me, why don't you just defer the semester till COVID is over? And I knew in my heart that if I walk away from that program, that would be it. There's no way I'm going back to it. But I thank God for those words, because it kind of reset my mindset, and I just gave it my all. And to God's glory, I did so well. I never failed any class. I had so much success that my colleagues would reach out to me to ask me how I study, what I do differently. And then I tell them, hey, I do study, but at the end of the day, the Holy Spirit helps me. It helps me understand so many things that, on a good day, it's the concepts are difficult, but there's a way He shows them to me, and I see them differently. So I introduced Christ to them, and then we started praying together. Amongst them is this particular young man that when we started, he didn't want to hear anything about God. He actually said, we Black people are gods and we rule the world. Some kind of weird thing. Everything was just kind of mixed up in his mind. I can't even explain it. But as time went on, every time I speak to him, when he asks me, how are you doing this and how are you getting so much good grades, I tell him it's the Holy Spirit. I kept sowing that seed, but he wasn't ready to listen or accept it. But when we got into our third semester, that semester is where you have OB and pediatrics together. It was a very tough semester, and he started doing badly. So he failed one of the exams, and if he fails one more time, he's going to have to repeat the semester. So he came to me and said, hey, listen, I know you said that thing about the Holy Spirit. I really need that right now because I have to pass this exam. And I'm like, well, you have to believe first. And he said, whatever you want me to do, I just need to pass this exam. So I asked him what he was believing God for, and he said he's believing God for 90%. That way he can go back to the cutoff mark. And we prayed. So after we prayed, and we also studied together, when the results came out, he got 90%, exactly what he asked for. So he said, wow, I never knew God answered prayers like that, like precisely what you asked for. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. So from there moving forward, he would come to me before every exams, would pray and everything. And his faith in God started growing. So our last semester was supposed to pass the exit exam, which you take 3 times. If you don't pass it the 3rd time, you have to come back next semester. So the 1st, 2nd time he failed it. So the 3rd time he said to me, he said, hey, if I pass this time, I'll come to church with you. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'm like, hey, God is listening. We're going to pray and we'll study. We did that and he passed. So he came to church for the first time in almost 20 years. And I just want to thank God, because if I had told him about the goodness of God and he did not experience it, then the gospel it's going to be hard to preach. But God made it so easy, because everything I asked, everything we asked, He made it happen. So in April, we graduated. Our cohort started out as a class of 42 students, but only 16 of us graduated. And out of that 16, I was awarded the most outstanding student in all areas: professionalism, ethics, academics, relationship with staff and student. The truth is, there's no way I could have received this award without the help of God. When I started, I didn't even know I would be able to finish with the intensity of the program, with COVID, with everything. But God helped me. His help was available. His grace was available. I want to thank Pastor Steve and Pastor Nneka particularly, because the words that kept coming from this altar was my stronghold. Every time I had issues or every time I was overwhelmed, when I come in here or I join online, there's always a word for me. God always settles every controversy. If I begin to count or tell how many times or tell you the stories, this testimony is going to be really, really, really long. So I just want to thank Pastor Steve and Pastor Nneka for allowing themselves to be used by God this way, because without all those words, I'm not sure I would have been able to make it. So I also want to encourage everyone this morning that with God, all things are possible. There is nothing God cannot do. And if you're a student here, help is available. The Holy Spirit is going to explain things to you that, no one else would understand it the way you do. It happened to me, and I'm a living testimony. God honored me, and I'm giving Him back the honor this morning. I pray that His word will continue to manifest in all of our lives. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you.